Welcome to Inspired Edinburgh, powerful conversations helping you reconnect with your purpose. I'm Elliot Reeves, and my guest today is Martin Georgiev. Martin, you're an entrepreneur, rocket scientist, and super connector. I'm impressed. You're also founder of Charmfinity, creating the life you want by using proven principles of success and happiness. You've been mentored by Jimmy Naraine and Peter Sage. You're an interviewer and have multiple courses on motivation and success on online learning platform Udemy. Martin, it's amazing to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, man.
You're absolutely welcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely welcome. It was great to spend time with you last night and find out a bit more about you. So I've loved it.
Me too.
So it would be great if we could start, I suppose, by finding out a bit more about you, who you really are, and the things that I suppose drive you, and yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, where should I start? Where I was born. I was born in Bulgaria, in a very small city, and I grew up there. About 10,000 people living there, and everybody knew each other. And my sister went to university, and she studied Chinese.
Really?
Yes. And then she decided that she's going to go to China to study there. And for me, coming from a small town, this was like, wow, like I couldn't even like imagine it, like my sister speaking Chinese, going abroad.
Yeah.
So suddenly my, let's say, spectrum of possibilities kind of like became bigger.
Definitely.
It like stretched my mind. And one day I found this blog. It was written by a Bulgarian guy, and he was studying aerospace engineering. I just graduated from high school. I didn't know what to want to do. And he was writing about, building Formula One cars, airplanes, rockets. And I thought, wow. I didn't know that there's people doing that, I didn't know that there's people who are studying that. And I decided that I want to go and study aerospace engineering. And I went to the Netherlands, in Holland, to study aerospace engineering.
Wow.
And I did that, and I realized that it's not really for me.
Okay.
But it was great. It was a great experience because I was challenged a lot. I had to study a lot and get tested about everything in life. And after that, I went to work as a strategy consultant. I did an internship in Amsterdam. This was basically the thing that everybody wanted to do after that. If you were like, you had technical background and you were kind of social like me, people would go to do this career after their masters.
Okay.
And I wanted to test it out before I do a 2-year master degree. I wanted to test it out if I like it. And I went there, and it was a great career. I mean, you get a lot of opportunities to travel, to work, to get a little different skills. But I didn't really like resonate with the environment,
Okay. Yeah.
So I thought, what next? And I saw this guy, Jimmy Naraine.
Okay.
He was traveling around the world, and he was making video courses. And I mean, I thought, wow, there's people doing that, traveling full time and inspiring other people. And I thought, this is what I want to do as well. And I mean, I told you the story, but I put Jimmy on my wallpaper on my computer. And every day when I wake up, I just open it up and just to remind me that there is like a different lifestyle that I might want to try. Yeah. And then this was like a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And since then, I've been kind of like doing what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you go about getting in touch with Jimmy then? What were the steps that you took to approach him?
Yeah, it was interesting because for me, whatever I did in my life, like let's say when I was growing up, I was breakdancing. I breakdanced for 10 years. This was kind of like my hobby. I had my breakdance crew. We used to travel. We used to do competitions. Wow. But there was one guy, and he lived in Bulgaria, in Sofia, in the capital, and he was like the best breakdancer in Bulgaria. And when I realized like this guy is the best breakdancer, I want to connect with him. I want to learn how, because if you're doing something, I believe that you should go and find the people who are already doing it. They're good at it. They've done all the mistakes, and learn from them. So I did that with the breakdance, and this guy, B-Boy Fuego, he became my mentor, and like I was with him for a couple of years, and the 5 years that I was dancing without his supervision, I didn't progress much. And once I was hanging out with him, yeah, I mean, he can teach me so much faster, and I progress so much quicker. And I thought that I have to do the same thing with Jimmy. Like, yes, I can try to make these online courses, and I can, you know, experiment everything by myself. But I thought it's much better if I can actually have a conversation with him and become friends with him.
Yeah.
And he can show me everything, how he's doing it, and all the mistakes that he did. So this became kind of like my obsession. And I have those obsessions, they come and go. And my obsession was to connect with Jimmy. And yeah, I mean, he had at that time 40,000 students online.
Wow.
So I tried the traditional way to just write him an email. I don't think he ever saw it, you know. I wrote him on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere, no connection. But I thought, no, I have to just keep on being persistent and just show that I really, you know, I'm different than the other 4,000 people. And how do you do that? You take action, and those people really respect that, because they see, oh, he's actually applying what I teach, because Jimmy is a teacher. He makes videos where he's teaching people what to do. And I want to show him, man, I'm really listening to what you're saying, and I want to apply that.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to be a good mentee to somebody, this is like the first step. Really listen what they do, and try to apply it. So I think suddenly you are seeing like this guy Martin is making videos. I made a couple of courses, and I was commenting on his posts. So he responded on that, and I was like, great, we're coming closer. But we still haven't met each other. We haven't had a conversation. So I thought, what else can I do? And this is maybe something that is useful for everybody who is watching this.
Yeah.
If you want to have a great mentor, try to find out who are they hanging out with, you know, because sometimes their friends or their social circle are not going to be so famous or so successful as this particular person. And I got in touch with his friends. I could see on Facebook who are his friends, and I saw that they're going to a mastermind trip in Greece. And I wrote them and I said, can I come with you guys? Kind of. And it was a big step out of my comfort zone, because I didn't know them personally. They didn't know me as well. And I went to this trip, and actually they were making an online course there.
Oh, okay.
So I got in touch with his friends, became friends with his friends, and then you know, Jimmy see me hanging out with his friends. He thinks, wow, I have to meet this guy Martin, because I mean he's doing what I tell, and he meets my friends. So we got into a WhatsApp group, and for the first time I remember I heard his message, like he recorded audio message, and I remember I heard in my ear like, oh, Jimmy Naraine is speaking to me. It's a great feeling, yeah. So this is how it started. There's a whole story, like.
That's brilliant. And so, you know, obviously Jimmy is a prolific Udemy course instructor. As you say, what are some of the things that you've learned from him, and how have you applied them to your own courses? Yeah,
I mean, Jimmy Naraine is somebody who is super inspirational. He has, I think, about 10 online courses on this platform called Udemy. And he has a professional movie crew. They're filming his courses. And yeah, long story short, we became friends, we traveled, we went partying together, and we lived together. We lived together for 2 months, and we actually decided to make a course on exactly that topic, because he told me, man, I have 40,000 students, and you're the first one that I meet, you know, from these people, and I actually become friends with.
Yeah.
And he says, you should teach other people how to do that, you know, how to become friends with your mentors. Because Jimmy's charging 5,000. I mean, he's charging, I think, $500 for like 1 hour, you know, business coaching.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I want business coaching from him, I have to spend, I don't know how many millions to spend, you know, 24 hours a day, like living together with him.
Yeah.
But much better way is to become friends with this person, and you can hang out and you can discuss. And yeah, what I learned, Jimmy is incredibly good at branding, first of all. how he's positioning himself on the internet. If you Google him, you think like, wow, he's a celebrity, he's a rock star.
Yeah.
Yes, so I learned that he's an extremely good salesman and very, very convincing and very persuasive. And by hanging around with him, I could see like, wow, this is the way he approaches life. He sees everything as a challenge. His mindset is always to challenge yourself. And yeah, I think by spending more time with him, it kind of like rubs off on you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that ties into the sort of law of conformity. People's lives are a direct reflection of the expectations of their peer group.
Yeah, definitely.
And incidentally, Peter Sage is another man that you've managed to connect with, which is absolutely amazing. So, I think it's an amazing way of doing it, and not many people that I know personally have specifically gone out to seek their mentors' guidance and friendship in the way that you have, and I think it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Sage, I mean, I saw his videos on YouTube on another show called London Real. I saw this interview with Peter Sage and I was like, wow, why didn't I know about this guy before? Like, I mean, what he was saying, like he was talking about different levels of consciousness, like victim mode and how to get out of it and how to become an achiever, but then to even transcend that and become actually to live in flow. And at the time I was watching this interview, I was kind of like going through a small burnout.
Oh, really?
And the thing he was talking about really personally like resonated with me. And he was an entrepreneur, 30 years of experience, 25 companies. And I thought, wow, I also want to be an entrepreneur. I also want to start businesses. I want to learn from Peter as well how to do that. But again, hanging out with Peter is also very expensive if you want to do it the paid way. I think he charges about £50,000 a year in order to be in his personal mastermind group. And I didn't have this money. And Peter is always teaching like you don't need money, but you need a better strategy. And the best strategy for mentors, finding mentors, is really to realize what does this person need. Not what I can get from him. Of course, I can get a lot by learning from him and spending around time with him. But the biggest difference is most people approach them, what can I get from Peter? While I realized this is not really winning because Peter has even bigger following than Jimmy, I was thinking how I can contribute value to his life. Because in this way, if somebody comes to you, Elliot, and he says, wow, you're building this great show, can I do the editing for you? Can I set up the cameras for you? Can I help you with the branding? Can I help you with the website? Can I help you with inviting guests? Suddenly this person will become very significant for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I saw that Peter is growing his online brand, and I just watched one of his interviews, just like an interview like this. And I was paying attention to where Peter says that he needs something, or where can you help this successful person? Because everybody can be helped. And there was a moment where Peter was saying that he's growing his online presence. And it was with Dave Asprey. You've met him as well, right?
Yes,
From Bulletproof Coffee. And Dave asked him, how exactly are you doing that? Or what's your plan? And I could see that for a second, Peter is thinking, most of the answers he has like boom, 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 boom. So I see, oh, maybe there is a room here, I can help him. And we talked with Jimmy, and Jimmy came up with a great idea that they can create a course together. And I was at the right time, right moment with the right person, and
that's phenomenal. It really is. It's such a great story. And as well as that, I've seen you interviewing Tim Han, and I've seen you interview Dawn Watson, who was the woman that many people will know from Tony Robbins' I Am Not Your Guru. So I mean, I think the thing is, watching one of your videos, you say that you've not always been a confident person. For a long time, you actually really struggled with your confidence. And so how have you managed to come out of your shell and overcome the social anxiety that you had, in the past?
Yeah, well, this is a great question. And the people who know me for the last couple of years, they always know me like a very social guy, confident, can talk to everybody. But I know that it is not always the case. And many people who are maybe shy or not confident, they think that this is the way they're supposed to be. And I was struggling a lot with that when I was growing up, especially as a teenager, and then after that in first years of university. I remember I would go to a party or a social gathering and I'll feel very insecure, you know, like shy and like, and I'll have these panic attacks, like social anxiety attacks, like, I mean, it's a very, very inconvenient feeling. And the funny thing is that I have been having this for years because I did a lot of work, and I'll tell you about that. But some of my friends, just like Jimmy, they didn't believe that because they have never seen me like that.
Yeah.
And this summer, actually, it happened again. Like we were at a party, and it hasn't happened for years, and I got a panic attack. How that feels is you feel that everybody wants to attack you, or everybody is your enemy, or I cannot even talk, and like very inconvenient feeling. And I used to have this many, many times, like it will happen in social situation. So I decided, nah, I have to change that, because I mean everything, like not only that doesn't feel good, but imagine this happens in the work.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you're doing business and it happens, you know, with your clients, and you can control it. So first of all, I stopped drinking.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I got into this pickup world, and they were saying that if you go out and you interact with people and you actually stop drinking, because what drinking does is basically, yeah, you forget about your insecurities. It's kind of like you stop your brain and you don't concentrate on, you know, all the small things, and you forget about all your insecurities. But it's kind of like masking the
problem.
the masking the problem. So I stopped drinking, first thing, and it was very, it didn't really feel good in the first month, because I was so used to when I go out to have a drink just to relax. But after a month, I started getting comfortable. Basically, I started developing my own confidence. And the second thing I did is I started going out much more, like, and talk to strangers.
Okay.
like on the street, in university, in the library, on the weekend, especially on the weekends, we'll go out and talk to many people. Why? Because in this way, you're like training yourself to become more confident in social situations. And you're actually present and aware of the nervousness or whatever. And you're not running away from it, but I'm nervous right now, no problem. I keep on talking. And it's just like in the gym, you know, you go and in the beginning you're not very good, but after, you know, a couple of months, you start feeling like, wow, I can talk to everybody. And after a couple of years, it becomes part of your personality, part of your identity. And then the third thing I did is I started meditation.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this.
And this is like the I think the habit that I'm most proud of. Like, it's like the biggest game changer in terms of how I feel, how I interact with other people, with myself. Because I mean, meditation, it has so many benefits, you know. And even one of my courses is just about meditation, because I believe that it's so powerful in terms of self-acceptance, in terms of compassion, in terms of relaxation, of course, and also for social skills is to basically not judge yourself, and also not to care so much about what other people think about you. Because the biggest problem with social anxiety is you are thinking, what are people thinking about me? Am I cool? Do they like me? You know? And you start questioning yourself, and when you meditate, you kind of like accept yourself, and you don't really, not that you don't care, but it's not so important. You're like, you accept yourself, so in the new interaction, you think that the other person accepts you as well.
That's brilliant. I really like that. So at a sort of practical level then, what does your meditation practice look like? What do you do? What are you trying to sort of think about? What are you tapping into?
Great question. And for me, like, once I start something and I even find it a little bit beneficial, I will, you know, go and explore any kind of, you know, way to meditate. So I've maybe tried hundreds of different techniques. First of all, I had a technical background, so I didn't really know if meditation is very scientific. But I heard there is this device called EM wave, and it's basically a device that you plug in, you attach to your ear, and you attach to your computer, and it measures your heartbeat. And I realized that your heartbeat, my heartbeat, and your heartbeat is connected to a pattern of breathing.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually very interesting because it's a biofeedback device. You can see your body, how is it reacting to meditation.
Wow.
And I started using that, and I realized that the breathing, how we breathe, is directly correlated with our nervous system. And that when we are stressed, we breathe from our chest, and just from here, and very shallow. But when we are relaxed, we breathe from our bellies. And then basically it's kind of like reverse engineering. You're telling your body, by breathing from your belly, you're telling your body, oh, I'm relaxed now. And then the technique was, it goes even further, like you concentrate on your heart, so you connect with your heart more. After a month, I could feel my heartbeat during meditation, and developing compassion by bringing memories of of joy, of love, of your family, friends. And I could see the difference, like just from this basic technique, I could see the difference in my everyday life. Like, for example, something bad will happen, or something that I will previously react very, like let's say, I'll be late for a meeting. And I used to stress before. Something happens and you're late. And this happens to everybody. And most people stress, and I used to stress a lot as well. And then for the first time I was late, and I was still going to the meeting, but I realized I'm not stressing about it. Which sounds simple, and it's not like that I don't care. I care about the meeting, but what does stress help? It doesn't help, right? So through meditation, I could see this benefit, and I decided, wow, if I can have this benefit in 2 months, how much deeper can it get? And I went to this meditation retreat called Vipassana. It's a 10-day meditation retreat where you meditate for 10 hours a day in complete silence. You don't speak to anybody, you don't look anybody in the eyes, and this goes much deeper, and then you can explore yourself on a much more subtle level. You become aware of the patterns that you're running and where they're coming from, and basically for self-awareness and getting to know yourself, it's a great tool.
Wow, that's so powerful. That's really incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. I definitely need to try some of that. It's something that I don't do nearly enough of, and I'll definitely need to try it. Awesome. So I'd like to talk a bit about your actual Udemy courses that you've made, because they're incredibly polished. It would look as though it's kind of scripted, but I don't think it is. I think it's just you talking naturally. So what's your preparation for doing the courses, and how do you avoid slipping up or making errors and things?
That's a great question, and I definitely developed this as a skill. But making online courses, it's a very interesting experience. It's something that you have to realize first, what is the market, what does the market need, and after that you have to prepare the content and become like a teacher. You want to bring your students from a journey, and the third thing is, of course, to deliver it in an engaging way, so people actually watch the lectures and make them click to the next lecture and the next lecture and lecture, because as a teacher you just want to make a great user experience, so people are actually entertained, but in the same time they learn something useful. And for me, I remember I started making videos about 2 years ago, and at first I just started with my phone in my room, because I just like to share. I mean, I like to learn stuff and share with people. It's kind of like my passion, and I will make videos with my phone. I remember I was so shy. I was so shy from the camera. I couldn't look in the camera. I would stumble. I would talk. I didn't know what I'm talking about. And I joined this group. It's actually a Facebook group, and if anybody interested, maybe we can put the link. It's called the 365 Video Challenge, and it's for people who want to learn to get good on camera, and they just post a video every single day. And we had different topics, and And it basically, like everything else in life, you do it more and more and more and more and more, and suddenly you learn how to do it. Like it becomes, like at first it's difficult because it's a new skill, but after time it's becomes, you become unconsciously competent, and you can just keep on talking and talking and talking. So how we prepare the courses is of course we know the structure of the course, we know the different lectures, and we have bullet points. In the beginning, I will script the whole lecture, and I will read it and try to memorize it and then freestyle. Nowadays, I have just a couple of bullet points, and because it became a skill, now I can just talk and connect them and freestyle more. But in the beginning, I think it's better to prepare.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent, excellent. So it's really interesting, I suppose, your journey reflecting back, because you started out with, being a sort of an engineer, rocket scientist basically, and then kind of advancing, and you now relate to the label of being an entrepreneur. So maybe talk us through that journey and how you eventually realized that actually an entrepreneur was the thing that you really wanted to do.
Great question. Well, I've been an entrepreneur for about a year right now, so I consider myself a baby entrepreneur, just starting right now. And I realize in this 1 year, I realize how much I don't know. So I'm definitely not an expert. I've never built a company making hundreds of thousands or millions, or I have never employed. I have just worked with 1 or 2 people helping me, but I've never employed many employees. So I'm not an expert on this topic.
Okay.
However, what I know is that I really want to become good at it. And this is what I want to do. So when I was studying engineering, when you study something like that, you pretty quickly realize if you're going to be the next engineer who's building the spaceship to go to Mars. And I realized that I'm not going to be one of those guys. It's just you have the genetics for that. Or the aptitude or the inclination. Doesn't matter how hard I studied, I always will be an average engineer. But I knew that with my social skills, because I've developed them, I knew that this is my key to success. I just didn't know how to use it. And I realized also after I graduated from my bachelor's, I realized now is the time to explore and to try different things and to see, is it business for me? Is this work for me? What I want to do with my life? Like many other young people, right? I see so many people graduating, they don't have any idea what they want to do. And I didn't want to be in that space. I wanted to find out as quick as possible. Because if I find the right direction, then I'll know I'll have to find this kind of people, I'll have to find this kind of mentors, but I just needed the direction. So I actually started following this guy called Lapse.
Okay, yeah.
Now he's a very famous online entrepreneur, and he's dominating in social media. But when I found him, he was just starting, and he didn't have many followers. Actually, I was one of his first students in one of his programs.
Wow.
And it was called the 67 Steps. It's basically 67 videos. And one of the first videos, he was saying that you have to know yourself. And I was like, wow. I don't really know myself. He was asking all these questions, like, where did you grow up around? What kind of people? What was your family doing? What is your background? What is your passions? And then he was talking about this thing, he calls it the Eulerian destiny. And he says basically what you're supposed to be doing in your life, and if you're aligned with that. And I realized at that time, I was not aligned with what I'm good at. I was not working for my strengths. It's a great book he recommended. I don't remember the name. Knowing Oneself.
Is it Peter Drucker?
Peter Drucker, Knowing Oneself.
Yeah.
And I read this book. It's a very short book. I realized, wow, I've been operating from my weaknesses. And he said the only way to win is if you operate from your strengths. And he was talking how important it is to analyze yourself. What do you like to do? What other people compliment you on? And what people really compliment me on is always when I go to a party or a social situation that I can meet everybody. And and that I can introduce people, and that I remember small things about them, and that I always had a great mentor. So I realized, okay, I started listening, paying attention. And this is what I like when now people come to me. I mean, a little bit younger than me. You know, now I'm 27 right now. Maybe people when they're in their 20, 21, 22, and they're wondering. This is advice I give them. You know, like start paying attention to your strengths. What are you good at? And many people don't know. You know, and they're doing something because they're doing it because they think that there's going to be a lot of money in that. But if they're not operating from their strengths or their passion, they're going to lose. So for me, in short, I started learning about entrepreneurship by doing, and making these video courses, preparing, and once I started earning money from that, I realized people are paying money for my course. I thought I'm nobody, like I thought when I tried as an experiment. I thought this will never sell. Nobody will ever buy my course. And I think most people don't even try something because, But for me, when I saw this first sale, I realized, wow, if I don't know anything about this and I do it as an experiment and I can earn money, what will happen if I dedicate a couple of years of my life, learn from the best people, improve, even learn even more about what my strengths are and even develop even more? I mean, what can happen then? I thought, wow, I can maybe engineer my own life and the life of my dreams. And I'm just moving in that direction, and I'm every day learning something new.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. What Ty says is absolutely true, and I think probably a lot of people aren't kind of introspective enough. They don't think about their strengths and kind of matching that with the things that they're doing. They kind of fall into, I suppose, acceptance that their situation is what it is, and they don't have full control of it. It's like they're being driven by their life rather than them being the driver. So that's some great advice. Excellent, thank you. So it would be really good at this stage, I suppose, to kind of peel back Martin a little bit and find out really about the things that makes you tick, and I suppose some of your future goals as well. So what you were talking about there, where do you see your future? Where do you want to go?
That's a great question. And my mentor Peter Sage always says that if you don't set your own goals, you're gonna end up working for somebody else who has done that for himself. So for me, now I have the two mentors, Peter Sage and Jimmy Naraine. Both of them have an online brand. Both of them make videos, they're educating, they're sharing knowledge. And I realized that my strengths are those two things: finding, interesting and successful people and connecting with them. And I love also, just like you, to have conversations with them, to get to know them, what makes them tick. That's why I also interviewed Don Watson and Tim, because they have fascinating stories. So I want to meet more of those people. I want to meet them all, and I think this is the biggest difference, is that most people they don't believe that they can meet famous or successful people, and that's why they don't do it. If I tell you you can meet, let's say, Brad Pitt, most people will think that they cannot do that, because I guess they believe that Brad Pitt is maybe made from something different. So for me, I know that I can meet all of those people. It's just a matter of time. And I'm very curious how they live, what they think, how they believe, and what makes them, who they are. So this is one of my drivers. And the other driver that I have is I like to be self-employed, travel, and make projects with, amazing people. Like when I worked with Jimmy and with his crew, I mean, it was fascinating. We work with professional people, and you're doing something that you care about. So I just want to keep on doing that. I want to make projects, whether that will be information products, whether that will be some educational program in a school somewhere. It doesn't really matter, as long as I'm interested and curious about this topic, and I'm working with great people. So this is kind of the direction. Now, what is going to happen? Like we talked last night, 2 years ago, you were pretty sure that you're heading that way. And now you're heading in a totally different way.
Yes.
So I think the direction for now, I know what's the direction. Where is it going to bring me? I really don't know, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm open, and I'm open to learn from everybody and to correct on the way. So if I believe this is the right way, and I find out from experience or the market or whatever that it's not really the right way, I'm open to improve. And basically, my goal at this moment is to have a life where I'm able to travel if I want to travel, where I don't worry about money. It's not even an issue, and I'm working on projects that I'm passionate about. This is kind of like my general drivers and direction, but not really specific, as you can see, because everything changes.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's very much, I suppose, living in almost like a flow state and just allowing things to kind of pan out, I suppose, as they do, and not stressing about it and not trying to kind of shape or mold your own future. It's just to live it and just allow it to unfold.
Yeah, really definitely. I mean, I guess the biggest driver for me is freedom, and I don't mean freedom like from responsibilities, but I believe that now with the internet and the opportunities that we have in the 21st century, the possibility and opportunities out there to create a life of your dreams. I mean, I don't believe that in my parents' lifetime or when they were my age in a communistic Bulgaria, they could even dream about it. It's not even on the map. But right now, it's in the menu.
Yeah.
Does it take a lot of hard work? It does. Is it risky? It is. Is it easy? Not necessarily, but it's definitely on the menu. And I'm thinking, man, I'm right now in my 20s. I have energy. I should go for that. And if it works, probably it will. But is there a chance that it wouldn't? Yes. But at least I'm passionate about it, and I know I can put my heart and soul and not put that energy in somebody else's project or somebody else's dream or a corporation. And if it doesn't work, well, then I can maybe do that. But for right now, I want to go 100% for that. Yeah.
Fantastic. It's a really good message. And anyone who's listening who is a sort of similar age to yourself, it's definitely an approach that would be worthwhile pursuing before it's too late. Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So how do you define success then? What does that look like to you?
Well, that also changes. Like, I think if you ask me what is success when I was 18, I maybe will tell you when I graduate my university, I'm successful. When I graduated from university, did I feel successful? Not really. And how does it feel right now at my age and at my current stage? I feel if I'm able to create this kind of lifestyle where I have the freedom to decide and to choose and not be guided from an external force, but to be able to have this autonomy basically to decide, okay, where do I want to live? I move to this country. Do I want to work on this project? Yes, I want. Or do I like it? No, I don't. If I have this ability to choose and also have great people, I mean not great people as famous people or successful people or whatever, but just people that we are having great conversations or we have a great connection, and I feel loved and and I'm able to spend time with my family as well, but also to grow and develop, to learn new things and to become better and to share it with others and to help them as well. I mean, this is like higher goals, right? First, we want to take care of our needs, but then this, of course, when you take care of your needs, you want to make something else for other people, inspire them. Edinburgh inspired. You see, you want to share and you want to give. So I think if I'm able to live this kind of life, and I'm trying to do it even right now, not to wait until one day, I feel successful. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Good question. I remember one advice which really has changed the course of my life, and it was from my first mentor. I told you, I was breakdancing, and my mentor was really experienced and really good. And he always told me, because I used to practice a lot. I used to practice 5-6 days a week, but he told me that I have to go to competitions. And when I go to, let's say, a breakdance party or a breakdance competition, I have to expose myself and go in this circle. Imagine a group of breakdancers, all of them very good, and me as a beginner, here, go inside, don't think, go inside. And this attitude of, you know, challenging yourself and putting yourself in difficult situations, because nowadays I don't think it's really necessary to do that, you know. You can very easily coast and, you know, let's say finish school, go to university, not really, you know, speak up or do anything for yourself, but just be quiet and safe, and then go do a normal job and not really, you know, stand out, fit in the crowd. And this applies for everything. When I was breakdancing, I want to just be safe. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to, you know, other people to think something, oh, look at this beginner guy, you know. But with this piece of advice, what I didn't really understand is that, first of all, other people don't really care, you know. Even if I go there and I suck, they'll forget about me. So I realized that other people don't really care, and that the way to really, you know, progress or grow is by challenging yourself in difficult situations. So, I mean, right now it will be, you know, to be in front of a camera, right? Or to do this interview. It was a challenge for me. I mean, you said you want to fly in, and of course you feel this, oh, we never met before.
Yeah.
You know, flying in here, you know, you're going to ask me questions. I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer or contribute or whatever. But I'm like, wow, it's a challenge. Let's follow this feeling.
Okay.
And let's do it. Let's take action.
Yeah.
So in 2 words, is take action. But it's always, you know, more difficult than just being said that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But for me, this was a game changer, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I suppose pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and going to where the fear is, because that's where growth is going to happen. If you just stay within your comfort zone, you're just going to remain the same.
Yeah.
So it's
and it's our natural inclination. We want to stay the same. We don't want to change.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I want this kind of lifestyle or whatever, I will have to change in order to be able, yeah.
Excellent. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail?
Wow. That's a great question. I guess I will start some kind of much more ambitious project than I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now, it might sound ambitious for some people or to me myself, but I'll definitely want to send something bigger. For example, one of my biggest inspirations is Elon Musk.
Okay, yeah.
And his goal is not to have an online brand and travel the world. His goal is to make the human species multiplanetary, or everybody to drive electric cars, or to make rockets and send them, you know, to different planets. And I'm thinking, wow, wow, this is big thinking.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty limited in my, you know, thinking big capacity compared to him. So I guess it will be some kind of a world project which will really make a big difference, you know, on a global scale. This will do, but until then, I guess I'll do it just step by step.
That's brilliant. It's a really good answer. I like that a lot. Excellent. So in terms of spending time around people, who are the types of people that you enjoy spending time with at the moment?
Well, one is definitely entrepreneurs, because they usually, I mean, they're taking risks. You know, they're not conforming to the status quo. If they have an idea for a project, they just find a way to make it happen. So this kind of people, because this is the direction I'm moving towards. I try to spend time also with people who went through a personal transformation in a certain sense that maybe they had certain pains and issues or some kind of traumas, but they kind of overcame that.
Yeah.
Like Don Watson, for example, or I have other friends, because I believe that we all have some kind of, insecurity or trauma. And if other people can solve it for themselves, I want to learn from them. How do they do it? How do they become complete? And they're not seeking something from the outside world. So I have friends like that. So many of them will be spiritual. And many of them will be trying different things like meditation or some kind of psychedelic medicine in order to, look more deeper inside of themselves. So I like these kind of people, and I have friends like that. I like people who actually like to do adventures and like to do cool stuff. Like they will be like, hey, let's go to do this, let's go to Edinburgh. I like to, I like this kind of diversity. And definitely, yeah, this will be like this. People who want to do something for themselves in terms of business or their own projects, self-driven, proactive, people who care about their own feelings and they want to, some heal themselves, and they're doing that, and people who are open for new, interesting stuff. Yeah,
excellent. That's great. I'd like to speak a bit about Dawn Watson.
Sure.
For anyone that doesn't know who Dawn Watson is, she was on the Tony Robbins program, I Am Not Your Guru. And I think the question that he originally asked the audience was, is there anyone here that's considering suicide? And she was one of the people that stood up and kind of put her hand up. And her story, in short, was that she was part of a cult called, I think it was Children of God, something like that. And she was sexually abused throughout her sort of childhood and her entire youth. And it's such a powerful and moving part in the program. And it's just her story is just incredible, and her strength and bravery to overcome it. So how was your conversation with her, and what are some of the things I suppose you've learned or taken away from that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, conversation with her was like with another human being, just like our conversation. Dawn is still a person. However, a very interesting person, because I mean, she has been through through such excruciating pain and confusion that most of us will never ever have to go through. And she went through that, and she found a way to make sense of this, difficulties and this dark side of her life, in order to right now be shining example for others. So seeing her and talking with her and realizing how she's been able to basically take so much pain that most people will be victims all their life, and they'll be blaming the people who made the pain to them. Like they'll say, oh, they raped me and I did that, and that's because of them I'm like this. And she, on the other hand, she was able to forgive them. She was able to realize that they're just like me and you, they're human beings, and they're able to make mistakes. And everybody has a good side and a bad side. And this level of forgiveness for me was so astonishing. Like, I mean, I personally have people in my life who have done something wrong, not to even any closer to this extent. And I still hold a grudge. Like, I'm like, I wish this guy didn't do that, I helped him and he, did to me. Like, how could he do that? and I feel bad inside, and in the same way I'm talking to her, and I mean, they did such things to her, and she doesn't have anything like that inside of her, and only love. And I mean, it's almost like talking not to a saint, but to somebody. His level of forgiveness is like nothing I have ever personally met. And seeing that, and that there is people like her, it was so moving, and I was like, wow, I should also strive to be more forgiving. So now I'm very curious how I can do that. And Dawn is a great person. She's full of love and so positive, although that she's been through this kind of upbringing.
What do you think is your own purpose in life?
My purpose.
Yeah.
My purpose, like, thing is like the purpose of everybody else, and that is to find what is my gift.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you call it strength. You can call it, you know, uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
And to really live through that, because I think if we find that and we use it for the good, we are basically helping ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
but also helping the world. And for everybody, it's different. That's the beauty of it, you know. And I think so many people live a life and they never ever or tap into that or use it, or, you know, so many maybe great architects who never became an architect. I had a housemate in college, and I mean, this guy, how he was drawing was incredible. Like, architects will come to visit us and they'll see his drawings, they'll be like, wow. But he never went to study architecture because his parents told him that it's not a good career. All of his cart and soul were there, and he knew, and he didn't have the courage to follow it.
Mm-hmm.
So finding what you're good at and then having the courage to follow this through, because imagine in terms of his case, if he really had the support or the permission for his parents, or he had the courage to follow what he was passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
he could make great buildings. And he'll feel great because he's doing that, and also other people who see the buildings will feel the same. For me, the same way. My strength is definitely not mathematics and building rockets, and my strength is definitely not, you know, analytics and maybe making calculations and working in banking world or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But my strength is basically people. I'm a people's person, and inspiring others. I used to do that since I was a kid. In school, you know, if I see somebody who doesn't feel very motivated, I like to inspire them. Yeah. And now I'm finding real strategies and real tools which really help me, you know, overcome, you know, social anxiety and different things. And I think, wow, for example, with the meditation, it really helped me. I've been meditating for the last 3-4 years, almost every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And so many young people don't know anything about meditation, or they think that meditation is this thing for the monks or for, you know, people in the caves, or I don't know, Indians. And I think meditation is for everybody. And I think, wow, I can use my personality to spread this thing that I found is super beneficial. So basically, I'm doing something I'm passionate about, and in the same time, because I'm operating from my strength, I'm inspiring others.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be changing and evolving. But just like Picasso, for example, he started painting when he was a kid, and he did all his life, or he did different paintings and different styles and whatever, but he found what he's good at, and he just developed it and developed it, and he became a master. And I think now I found it, you know, at the age of 25, let's say this you know, gift or whatever you call it, and if I keep on developing it, it will contribute me, because I'll be in flow, right? And also other people, because, yeah, I mean, they'll be entertained, they'll learn something useful, and yeah, just trying to keep to this core and to develop it even further.
Yeah. So mastery in inspiring others. I like it.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. So if you could have a conversation with the 20-year-old Martin,
Yeah.
what would you say to him?
Wow, it will be 7 years ago. I just arrived to the Netherlands. I will, of course, I'll sit down and have a conversation with him. I will be very compassionate. Martin, that time, was very hard on himself, unconsciously, you know, pushing himself so much. Like, I've just arrived to the Netherlands, a foreign country. I was studying aerospace engineering, something extremely difficult, and there were so many opportunities suddenly. I was learning the Dutch language. I signed up for different courses, sports. I want to do everything, and I was putting so much pressure on myself. because I have never seen these kind of opportunities, and now I had everything. And I'll try to give him a friend advice that he doesn't have to be so hard on himself, and to be a little bit patient, and to tell him that everything's gonna be all right. Because I guess he was scared and he didn't know what will happen in his life. And I said, everything will happen when it's the right time, but don't try to force it. Don't try to push yourself so much. Yeah, kind of like that. Very, very friendly conversation.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it. If you could change anything in the world, what would you change?
It wouldn't be, I guess it would be like a small change. But what I think is really missing, or at least I missed that, it's this thing about self-compassion. I never learned about it, I don't think anybody's teaching that. Or kind of like practical psychology, the things that I'm curious about. I wish I had studied that in school. I wish there was a course on meditation, introspection. I wish there was something to teach me how I can understand what's driving me. And if I could, develop some kind of a program where students will find what they like or what they're good at, and like be directed in that direction, and in the same time helping themselves, learning what they need. If that is, love for themselves, so they can feel complete. Because I think so many people feel incomplete, and that's why they're chasing, like Peter Sage says, rabbits.
Yeah.
They're chasing the next goal and the next success and the next career, the next whatever, and feeling unfulfilled. So if people can understand more about what's driving them, so I guess it would be some kind of a way of realizing who you are as a person, knowing yourself, and also what you need, and giving yourself that. And maybe that will be just a course in school curriculum. But I think if people realize that on a global level, they can become better to themselves and then to others. It will be a small change, but yeah.
That's brilliant. That's such a great answer. Awesome. Martin, this has been a fantastic interview. I've loved every minute. It's been great getting to know you. I think you've given some fantastic sort of tips and actionable pieces of advice, but I feel as though I've really got a sense of who the real you is. And you're such an awesome person. I genuinely have loved spending time around you, and I really hope we keep in touch.
Of course, Elliot, and thank you very much for having me here and doing this project, because I think you're going to inspire many, many people in the years to come. And congratulations on following your passion.
Thank you.
It's great to be your first guest where you're interviewing by yourself.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to see all the other interviews you're going to record.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Martin.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Thank you for taking the time to watch Inspired Edinburgh. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd really appreciate if you could like and share it. You can also sign up to our mailing list and social media channels using the details coming up on your screen now. If you have any feedback or suggestions, please feel free to comment. Until next time, reconnect with your purpose and inspire others.